Also this hour, Bhutanese King Jigme Namgyel Wangchuk, who is in India on a 3-day trip, will meet the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi today and will also hold talks with the President of India, Draupadi Murmu. The Bhutanese king has already met with India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. The purpose of the visit is to expand and strengthen the ties. There is already strong bilateral ties between the two countries, particularly in areas of economic and development cooperation. The visit of the king is in line with the tradition of regular high-level exchanges between India and Bhutan that have been going on for many years. Bhutan is a strategically important country for India, and the defense and security ties between the two sides have witnessed significant expansion in the last few years, especially in the backdrop of a 73-day face-off between Indian and the Chinese troops in Doklam Tree Junction. The timing of the visit is intriguing. It comes right after a statement made by the Prime Minister of Bhutan. Last month, he gave an interview to a Belgian daily where he said that China has a say in the Doklam issue, much like India and Bhutan. For the longest time, Bhutan was on India's side. Its position was the same as New Delhi's, but that appears to be changing slowly. The latest statement by the Bhutanese Prime Minister is proof. The Bhutanese king arrived in Delhi on Monday. He was received by the Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar. Taking to Twitter, Jaishankar said, and I'm quoting him, "The king's vision for Bhutan's future and for strengthening the unique partnership with India is deeply appreciated." The king had earlier made a transit visit to India in September 2022. Meanwhile, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Bhutan in August 2019. And for more on this, our principal diplomatic correspondent, Sidhant Sibal, is now joining us. Sidhant, good to see you. What is the significance of this visit by the king, and what impact will it have on bolstering ties between India and Bhutan?
Well, Eric, the visit is part of a routine visit, high-level exchanges between India and Bhutan. The king was in Delhi, a transit visit last year, and we have seen Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi going to Bhutan in 2019. The Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar was also in Bhutan in 2022. Earlier this year, we saw the Indian Foreign Secretary visiting the Himalayan Kingdom. Now, while this is a routine visit, it is coming in the backdrop of the comments, as you pointed out, by the Bhutanese Prime Minister, especially concerning the border issues related to China. So there is a shadow of those comments over this visit. The Bhutanese king earlier today met the NSA. Even as we speak, he's holding meeting with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi here in Delhi. And in the evening, he will be holding meeting with the Indian President. What is interesting is that there is a briefing by the Indian Foreign Secretary on the visit of the Bhutanese king later today in Delhi, in which we'll get to know as to what transpired in these meetings. But essentially, we know that India-Bhutan share a close relationship almost in every sphere, whether it's connectivity, people-to-people relationship, COVID crisis, or whether it's space. We have seen exchanges happening between the two countries. In fact, the ISRO chief was in Bhutan just few weeks ago. So essentially, while this is a very good relationship, it's the fallout of the comments by the Bhutanese Prime Minister, which of course were nothing much. It was something that he reiterated. He has been essentially, that has been the Bhutanese policy as well. But it's coming at a time when China has been very aggressive with India, with Bhutan as well. We saw just yesterday, the news report came out that how the Chinese Civil Aviation Ministry has come out with new names for locations in Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh. We could expect some reaction by the Indian side over those developments.
Sidhant, let me just take you back to what you've just mentioned there. The king is touring India in the backdrop of the Prime Minister's controversial comment on the China border issue. How is New Delhi handling that matter?
Well, there hasn't been any reaction by India over the comments by the Bhutanese Prime Minister, but those comments basically says that when it comes to the Doklam area, this is a tri-junction between India, Bhutan and China. The Bhutanese Prime Minister said that China is also a stakeholder in resolving that issue. Now, we need to recall for our viewers that in 2017, the Doklam crisis erupted with, of course, the Chinese trying to trespass into Doklam, which is the Bhutanese territory. And since then, of course, there was a kind of resolution, but now reports suggest that again the Chinese side has tried to build up its infrastructure and forces on those locations. Now, why Doklam is important to India is because it lies very close to what is known as a chicken neck, and this connects basically India's northeast with the rest of mainland India. Now, that, of course, is a security challenge for India, and that is why there will be anxiety over any comments made by Bhutanese Prime Minister or leadership over the developments in the Doklam region. So while there hasn't been any reaction, we can only guess that this was something that was talked about during the Bhutanese king's various conversations here in Delhi, and we'll get to know as and when the Indian Foreign Secretary holds the press briefing later today.
Our principal diplomatic correspondent, Sidhan Sibol, thank you. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.